Hello, howdy, and welcome to another edition of Songs We Loved as a Child. And this is a quick impromptu video because of the news this past weekend that we lost a real legend of the British country and gospel music scene, and someone I was very pleased to call a friend in recent years, the great Paul Wheater. Paul was known mostly, I suppose, as Britain's answer to Jim Reeves. He had that beautiful, silky, deep voice, which totally suited singing Jim Reeves songs. And I remember I first heard of him probably late 80s, early 90s, hearing his songs on Radio 2. And I can remember at some point during the mid-90s, going to a concert. Me and my friend Vinny, who I was in a duo with, we heard that Paul Wheater was coming to town, and I didn't know at that point that he was also a Christian and sang gospel music. We just went along because we knew we were going to love that voice. And I can remember us sitting there, and there was one point in the show where Paul hit this really beautiful, deep, rich note in one of the songs, and I can remember me and Vinny just looking at each other and like, that was the magic moment of the show. And we spent the whole of the rest of the show just waiting for that to happen again. And that was a special moment. Of course, Paul then went on to very successfully run and host the fabulous Whitby Gospel Music Convention for many, many years, more than 20 years. And I was pleased to get my first invite in 2015. And that was a great experience for me, and I'm pleased to say that I've been back many times since, and indeed in recent years, Paul even asked me, as well as being one of the artists, to also run the sound, which I was due to do at this year's convention, which sadly won't be taking place now. It's been a sad weekend for many people, hundreds, thousands of people whose lives have been touched by the lovely, gentle giant that was Paul Wheater. A sad weekend for us, but a joyful one, of course, for Paul, because he went to meet his Lord and Saviour at Easter. What can you say? Another thing that won't be happening is Paul, despite his failing health in the last year or so, fully intended this year to record one final album. And he asked me if I would contribute to this album, and that honestly would have been a great honour. Obviously, that's not going to happen, but what I thought I'd do today is I'd, by way of tribute, sing you one of my absolute favourite Jim Reeves songs. Out where the bright lights are glowing, you're drawn like a moth to a flame. You laugh while the wine's overflowing, while I sit and whisper your name. Four walls to hear me, four walls to see, four walls too near me, closing in on me. Sometimes I ask why I'm waiting, but my walls have nothing to say. I'm made for love, not for hating. So here, where you left me, I'll stay. One night with you is like heaven, and so while I'm walking the floor, I listen for steps
in the hallway and wait for your knock on my door. Four walls to hear me, four walls to see, four walls too near.